Hey crafty friends! You may remember at the very beginning of the year, I did a video all about my crochet goals for 2025. There were also some goals that were not crochet related, but I thought it was time to potentially go through those goals, see where we're at. It's the start of December. Well, it's mid-December at this point, but never mind. So if I haven't done it yet, what are the odds that I'm actually going to get it done? Probably minimal, to be honest. There are a few that I think maybe I might make some headway on. So let's go through them together, see what I said I was going to try and do and how much I actually got done. So first up, one of my goals was to do 3 markets in 2025, and I am very happy to say that I did actually get that done, and in fact I went a little bit above that. This year in March I did the Colourful Minds market, and then I had the Oz Feline Fair, which was a 2-day market, so I feel like that one counts for a little bit more than just one market. It was 2 market days. Pretty good. Then I also had the Gledswood market, which was a new to me market, and it was actually a pretty new market overall, I think. It is one that was a little bit more community based as opposed to the other ones I do, which are art markets or kind of similar to that. So I'm really glad I gave that kind of market a go. And then I also just finished up my year of markets with Colourful Minds in October as well. I did not book any markets for November, December this year. It is always just a hectic time of year, and I also work full-time. If you are new here and you don't know that, I do have a full-time job. This isn't my full-time thing doing crochet as much as I wish it could be. I'm happy with that spread of markets. I feel like it gave me enough time to not be stressing out about stock and inventory for all of those markets, but also it meant I had kind of a steady flow of markets throughout the year. I will say I think the only one I was stressing about stock for was probably Oz Feline Fair because it was all cat related, and therefore I wanted a lot of really specific items. Whereas for the other 3 markets I could just kind of take the inventory I had and, it all went fine. So if you want to see any of the market wrap-ups for those markets, please go and check out my channel. There are plenty of videos on all of them, so you can play catch up and see how they all went in more depth if you would like. The next item that was on my goal list was to finish 5 tapestry pieces. That one was a little more ambitious, I'm gonna admit. I finished 1. It is this cat one that you can see here in the background. I finished that this year, and I do have one half finished, which is my froggy tapestry that I have been working on. If you've been here and watching any vlogs, you might recognize this one, but we're getting somewhere. I think I'm 65% done at this point, so I do think I will get 2 done this year. Not quite the 5 that I had wanted to do. I think I plan to do some more smaller ones and do more practicing of my tapestry, but I don't know, I just never got around to it. I'm not really sure why not. I don't know if it's just that there was no kind of smaller sized ones that were catching my eye, and so I didn't end up doing them. I'd really like to carry that into next year. I think I would like to do a few more tapestry pieces. So if you've got any kind of ideas for smaller ones or patterns for smaller ones, I would really like to see them. I would like to hear about them because I don't know, I still want to work on tapestry. I know this doesn't really count, but I did also finish a rabbit tapestry that I made for my best friend, and I did do the majority of it in 2024, but I finished it in 2025. Regardless of if that counts or not, which to be honest, if I'm being really real with myself, it doesn't count. But even if it did, I wasn't even close to getting 5 done. So maybe 2026 is the year. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. On to the next one, which was I wanted to have 4 pattern releases this year. And you know what? I'm calling that one done. I don't know if they were necessarily releases, but I will go through the patterns that I had with you and you can let me know what you think. So I actually think I might have released this year my blob cat pattern. I think that was this year, but I think I did a lot of the stuff for it in 2024, but editing me will tell you if I'm just delusional and that was actually 2024 anyway. But for sure, I released Blob Bunny this year. That one was around Easter time, so I was really happy with how that one turned out. I do still kind of want to do a few more blob animals in that series, even though it has been a while since I released the bunny and that was the last one I did. But if there's any animals you want to see in that style, let me know down below and I will work on it for you. I also did make the fruit blob pattern. That one is a free YouTube tutorial for the watermelon blob. This one was just something that came about because I was like playing around trying to find something that I could make kind of quick and easy keychains for markets for, and I don't know, I really like kind of fruit themed things, so I just made it up, and then after I'd made a few I was like, I could probably write a pattern for this and just, you know, have it for people on my YouTube as like a free tutorial. So I did that, and then there is also like pretty cheap paid version of it so that you can get all the different color changes for like 12, I think, different fruits. I might have that number wrong. So that was my second pattern release. And then I did a free pattern for a hash brown, which is just like on my blog now. That one was just like from, you know, like a weird couple of days on Threads where hash browns were trending, which weirdly enough was actually instigated or like started by someone that I used to kind of interact with in like the Bookstagram world when I used to be active on there. And it was kind of this weird kind of full circle moment. And then I ended up making and releasing a crochet hash brown pattern, which is like on my Instagram profile, also on my blog. But I ended up sending that person who kind of started Hash Brown Gate, I sent her the first one that I made because I was like, in acknowledgement of your work towards Hash Brown Gate, here you go, a little memory for you. So that was kind of silly and funny. And lastly, I did also have another like completely free pattern release just on how I make my beanies. I don't know if this really counts as a pattern release, but I did make a full tutorial of it because anytime I have had these beanies on my like videos here or on shorts or reels or anything like that, I always get asked if there's a pattern, and my answer is always like, no, I just kind of like freehand it and it works out. So I made finally a video tutorial for one. So that is on the channel here as well. Not a pattern release, but like, again, a pattern that I actually finally put words to the thing I had been doing to make it for ages. So that was 4 patterns that I like, you know, wrote up or whatever, made videos for this year. I'm happy with that. I do also have one in the works for like a tulip bucket hat, which just kind of got put to the side at the point where I had written it, but wanted to film a like tutorial on it, and I've never ended up doing that. So potentially 2026 will be the year for that one. Who knows? The next little crochet related goal that I had was to make 3 pieces of clothing. I really want to get more into like making things that aren't just amigurumi. I really enjoy the fact that there are so many different facets to crochet and there are so many different things that you can make. And I think I ended up having so much yarn, as you can see, to make amigurumi from when I like first got into it, that I keep going back to making that stuff, and I do really enjoy making it because they are typically quick things to make, and you know, you get a little dopamine rush when you finish. They're also great things to send to like my friends when they have kids, or for kids' birthdays, or for my nieces who live in a very hot climate, so I can't really make them clothing. So I do make a lot of ami, but I would really like to make more clothing or homewares or tapestries and things like that. So that's where a few of these goals had come from, I think, originally. I did manage to hit my 3 items of clothing goal. One of them was the Ivy cardigan, which you may remember I was working on it in like a couple of vlogs if you've been here for a while, because that was during spring, I think. So I don't know, it was a while ago. Was it? I mean, spring just ended, but I feel like I was maybe making it in winter in anticipation of spring. Anyway, doesn't matter. I also finished my granny straps vest, which I finally made one for myself. I had made one a while ago for a friend for their birthday, I think, but I was really happy to get one of those made for myself. Super colorful. I've also been trying to like wear it a lot more. I can't now, obviously, because it's getting really hot, but I was in winter. I was like, I'm actively going to wear this out, and it was the same with my Valor vest, which I didn't make this year, but just trying to wear more of the clothing items that I've actually made out in the real world. I did also test 2 schnoods, which are like, I'm gonna call them clothing. They're not, I guess they're like accessories in a way because they're headwear, but they're like bigger than just making a beanie. They were more involved, and it was a pattern test, so I'm gonna count those. I think like all together, even though those things are not like a full piece of clothing, they can count. They can count as clothing. To me, I am happy with my like dip back into the clothing world, and I would really like to find more patterns that I want to make in terms of clothing. I think, as I have said before, and as I have made a video on, if you have been around and watched that, I kind of struggle with finding crochet clothing patterns that like suit my body type or that suit my style. So I think I do want to try and like spend a little more time, I guess, trying to find my style with crochet clothing patterns and also what I would like. I do wish that I lived in a colder climate because I think there are so many like jumpers that I would really like to make that I would really love wearing, but it's just, there's not that big a window in Australia or at least in my part of Australia, where you can actually wear like a fully crocheted jumper, which are like a bit thicker, you know what I mean? Like they're hot. There's like light sweater weather here, but not full-on jumper weather for very long. And by the time I remember that I'm gonna wanna wear a jumper, it's too late. I'm already in that weather. And I know that by the time I make the jumper, it's gonna be hot again. So maybe I need to start earlier. Maybe that's just a sign I need to do things earlier. I don't know, story of my life, realistically, honestly. Now, the next one is a work in progress and it will be done by the end of the year. This one was, I wanted to make one like big amigurumi, not kind of small no-sew or like low-sew smaller items that I tend to make a lot for markets and stuff like that. I think in my original video, I was talking about potentially making an Anchor, the octopus, or the bigger Hugo the Humpback Whale because I had made the baby one in 2024 and I loved making it. Instead, I am now part of a crochet along for the Kits Knit Santa pattern, which I have started. Let me show you what I've got so far. Guys, there's really not that much, so like don't judge me for this, but I made his head, which I did use a different yarn for his like beard versus the fluff on his hat. And honestly, the fluff on his hat is faux fur and it is shedding so much because I made a pom-pom out of it and I think that was a really bad idea. I'm liking how he's looking. I'm liking how he's working up. I obviously still have an entire body to go. The hat is made separately, which is why I felt like I had done quite a lot on this because I've made multiple pieces, but I've already sewn them together. Like the moustache pieces and the hat are already sewn onto the head. And I have also made one of his arms. So I need to finish him. It is a crochet along that lasts until the 25th of December, until Christmas. So I do have some time. I would like to finish him early though, so that I actually get to like enjoy seeing him in my house. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna be very, very cute. It's not much yet, okay? I understand that, but he's gonna be a cutie. Stay tuned for when I eventually do finish him, and I will. So my big Ami is going to be a tick, but it's a tick in progress. And then we move on to like my non-crochet related goals that I had this year, and I wasn't super extensive in these in the original video, but for the sake of coming full circle on that video, I'm gonna go over what they were and how I went with them. The first two in this section, I guess, are like YouTube related. And guys, I was so overambitious. I don't know what I was thinking. I was delusional in January this year, honestly. But the first goal I had in this section was to make 50 YouTube videos this year. At the time, I didn't actually think that that was that crazy. It was like one a week with a little bit of leeway, but one a week when you work full time and also like have holidays and stuff booked is actually quite a lot of videos as it turns out. So I was a bit silly on that front. I have made so far 36 videos. This one will be number 37 that you are watching. But I also have done 12 lives. I know they don't really count as YouTube videos, but they are content on my channel that can be watched because I save them as like, you know, you can rewatch them. And those would take me to having 49 videos, plus I have also got some like member only content on here. Those are usually like little scrap basket things. I do have kind of a catch up from last month because I was not posting much content in the last few months. So I did a little makeup video for my members, and I also had a vlog from my Melbourne trip, which I never posted on my like normal channel because when I got home, I realized that I had just taken kind of a bunch of clips and hadn't really been talking to camera all that much. So I sort of just, it was like a little behind the scenes one for the members. So if you count the lives and the members only content, I did make 50 videos this year. I'm on the fence about that one. I'm close enough and I am pretty happy with like the amount of content I did put out this year, all things considered. So I'm okay with missing the mark on that one, but I guess technically I failed. Here's where my delusion sets in. For some reason, I thought that it was a reasonable goal for me to hit 5,000 subscribers this year. Not even close, guys. I was not even close. I don't know what I was thinking. So I think as at filming this, I'm at like 2,500, like halfway, but also I was already like a decent part of the way there when I made this goal. So I'm definitely not halfway to making up the difference between what my subscriber count was when I made this goal and what the goal is, but whatever. You know, people will find me or they won't. People will subscribe or they won't. I'm happy with the content that I'm putting out, and I love the community we're building here. So, you know, hopefully in 2026, we'll just keep kind of plodding away, slowly increasing our little group of people who love hanging out here with me. We'll see. So on that note, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and for liking and for commenting and just for like being involved in this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, feel free to hit that button below. Maybe we can inch like a little bit closer to the goal and sneak in kind of a closer number before the end of the year, but I'm not holding my breath. Finally, I have 2 goals that were completely unrelated to anything crochet, anything content, anything like that. So those were, 1, I wanted to read 40 books this year, and I can confirm that, yes, I have done that. I have read, I think, 46 books to date. 21 of those, this was like, I pulled these stats a couple of days ago, and I think I actually finished a book, but I have read to date 46 books. I have had like a really odd split for me personally between like ebooks, audiobooks, and physical books. For a really long time, I was like physical books only. I have so many physical books in my house that I hadn't read yet that I really wanted to get to, but more and more I have been using my Kobo and connecting it to my library, which in Australia, Kobos are the ones that connect to your library. I know that in the US, Kindle has that deal with libraries, but in Australia, it is Kobo, so that is one of the big reasons I chose Kobo. I have read 21 ebooks, 15 audiobooks, which mostly were also from the library, and then only 10 print books, which is really strange for me. I usually am maybe like 50% print, and then the other 2 are kind of a bit of a split. But I think between traveling and trying to kind of, I don't know what the word is, like hobby stack, I guess, like by listening to an audiobook while also crocheting, I've really bumped up those numbers, and print books have just kind of fallen by the wayside a little. So I don't really mind that, like however you read and however is accessible to you to read counts and is valid. So whatever, but I just thought it was interesting because it is quite different to my previous years. If anyone is interested, I use Storygraph to track my reading and track this kind of stuff. They have some awesome ways of like pulling stats for your books. They have things like what kind of moods you mostly read and what kind of pace of book you mostly gravitate towards, the number of pages in the books you read, and like the breakdown of the size of books you read or the length if it's audiobooks. And I just love that they are independently owned as opposed to the other one that a lot of people use, which is Goodreads, and that is owned by Amazon. So anywhere I can, I do like to kind of separate myself from Amazon and support somewhere independent. If you're currently using Goodreads and you're interested in trying Storygraph, please like jump on and have a look. You can export all of your data from Goodreads into Storygraph. You can keep your lists, all of that kind of thing. That's what I did when I first moved over because I had been a Goodreads user for a really long time. I don't know, that's like totally unrelated, but just my little plug for Storygraph, because I feel like it is growing definitely, but people still like, obviously habits are hard to change, and Goodreads has such a like chokehold on readers and people in the reading kind of industry or creative spaces. So try it out if you're interested. That's all I'll say. I'll drop the link down in the description so that you can have a look at it and see if you like it. The way that they visually show what you've been reading and your shelves and your data is just very pleasing to me. I really like it. And my final stat is just that October was my best month for reading, which is kind of interesting to me because it was probably my worst month for crocheting content. So like, maybe that's why. Maybe these things are related, you know? And the very last goal that I had for this year was I wanted to do a 10K run. I didn't want to do it just as like a training run. I wanted to do it as part of an event. And I didn't do that. Nope. So I don't even think I did one as part of a training run. Probably the furthest I ran was like 6, maybe 7 kilometers at once. But I did play a lot of Frisbee this year, and I played some really good quality Frisbee this year. So I'm really happy with that. At our women's national season, I got a gold medal with my team. And at the Masters season, which is like state-based championships here for people who are over a certain age, that one was one that I think when I kind of made this 10K running plan goal, that wasn't on my calendar as something that I was going to play, and then it got put into my calendar. So all of a sudden the very brief window where I'm not playing Frisbee and would have to train for like a 10K run disappeared, and my team got a bronze medal at that. So I'm happy with that. To me, that's better than a 10K run. So I'm not going to talk about this too much because this is like a crochet craft space, and like, I don't know, running is boring. That's why I don't do it. That's why I play Frisbee instead. So with apologies to my husband, who had a really big and awesome running year and smashed his PBs in half marathons, in marathons. Well done to him. And full respect to his running and what he does. But I think I would rather spectate the running events and play the Frisbee events, you know? And that's fine. Each to our own. So that is all of the goals that I had in that little kind of 2025 goal video at the start of the year. I'm pretty happy with how I went. I know that there were a few there that I just like completely didn't do, totally didn't get close to. But I am overall really happy with my year and how it went, both in the crochet world and outside the crochet world, in other things that I do in my life. It's been a good year. I hope you have had a pretty good year as well. And if you want to share any of your goals that you had, I would love to hear about them in the comments. Or if there's just something you're proud of that you did this year, whether it's crochet related or not, let me know about it in the comments so that I can support you and celebrate you and cheer you on, because it is the season for that. It's the end of the year. It's a nice time to reflect, and it's a nice time to kind of congratulate ourselves on what we got done, even if what we got done is literally just surviving a pretty hectic year in the world, to be honest. The fact that you're here watching this, putting your feet up for however long this video has been for and chilling out for a little bit, that deserves celebrating too. So well done to you for being here. For 2026, I don't think I'm going to do any goals. I think the most that I will do, I saw a lot of people this year do crochet bingo instead. And I think maybe that is something that I will give a go instead. My 2026 is going to look very different to how my 2025 looked in my personal life, probably in my content creation, probably in a whole host of other ways. And I will get into that with you in another video at another time. Yeah, I think crochet bingo is going to be the 2026 thing. So maybe at the start of next year, I will come back and have a little crochet bingo card and we can walk through that together and see what it looks like. If you want to join me doing crochet bingo, please do. I'm pretty sure people have templates and things like that. So I will look some up. And if that is true, I will drop them down below and I will let you know. And if it's not true, maybe we can make some together. Who knows? That's it from me for this video, I think. Thank you so much for hanging out. And like I said, congratulations on making it through to December. We are here. The end of the year is in sight. I hope you have some really lovely plans to just rest and recharge once the hectic holiday period is over. I will still have some videos coming out over the next couple of weeks. I probably will take a break over the actual like Christmas New Year period, but who knows, anything could happen. I'll be around. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you liked the video, please feel free to give it a like, and while you're down there, if you're not subscribed, please feel free to hit that button as well, because you made it to the end of the video, so maybe you would like to watch more in future. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye!